Hey guys, welcome back today on the continued rebuild of the N55, serial number 7419. You guys last recall that we left off, we installed the intake camshaft. We installed the bridge, retainer springs, cam followers, eccentric shaft. So all that's been installed and ready to go. So intake side is good. Now we're going to start with the exhaust side camshaft. We've already installed the lifters, as you can see here. Lifters has got some lubrication from the transmission fluid from when we bled them. You guys, I'll put a link up to the lifter cleaning, inspecting, and bleeding. You guys can take a look at that. All these lifters have gone through that process. They've been tested, cleaning. They've been cleaned, bled, tested, inspected, and so forth, and ready for installation. So next thing, we're going to go ahead and install the exhaust camshaft. Okay, you can see here we've got our rockers all aligned here. We're going to go ahead and get that done. The camshaft ledges have been polished. All have been polished and measured. We can see no scoring on it here. So camshaft has been polished as well, including the ledges, the bores, the journals. So let's get to it. This engine is right now on a timeline. We've got get this engine ready for installation into this 535xi M Sport here. You can see we've already gone ahead and pulled the engine out. Engine is locked up here. So want to get this engine done and swap it in and get this thing running. Okay, so let's get to it. Alright, the exhaust camshaft has been torqued. Visually we can see we've gone 60 degrees. We started from here and we've moved here, so 60 degrees. You can see all of them, we've got a 60-degree angle torqued on them. So this installation is good. Right, next step, we're going to start to assemble the front, install our vanos, our chain guides, and so forth. Okay. Alright, so welcome back here today. N55, serial number 7419. It's time to time the engine. So the vanos have been installed, bolts are all loose, right? Our adjuster is, there's no tension on our adjuster. Okay. Can move these here, can move these there. First thing that we want to do is what we want to, I've got a screwdriver in. Got a screwdriver in atop that center, as I can see the movement of the piston as it comes up and down. Okay. I put the flywheel on so I can be able to pin the flywheel with my pinning tool to top pin it atop that center. Okay. So that's the next step. We're going to go ahead and rotate this so we can pin our flywheel. Got our pinning tool. We're going to slide that into here. And because the trend is off, we can really see where that location is. Okay, as it comes around. You can see my screwdriver starting to move up. Okay. Okay. You guys can see right through the window right here. You can see the lock-in to tab in the flywheel that the pin's going to engage to right here. Okay, so that's coming up, pins right here. Okay, I just hit the pin. I back my pin off a little bit. Now I'm just going to move just a little bit, and then I'm going to put pressure on my pin here. There we go. Locked in. Top that center. Okay. You guys can see right there, you can see my pin through into my flywheel. We have pinned the flywheel. Crankshaft is set in position. We have rotated this in the correct position, ready to install our alignment tool between both camshafts. So one way that you want to double check, you can take a look at your exhaust camshaft and you can see that the number 1 cam lobe is pointing upwards, inwards at an angle. Okay, and you've got your QR code. Okay, the intake QR code is up, and the lobe is pointing outwards and upwards at an angle right here. Okay, take a look at from this side, you can see, maybe do it this side here, it's pointing in this direction here. Okay, This should slide in and out very easily. No resistance, no force in it. Slides right in and out and seats with the cylinder head flush. Right here, flush on both sides. Then we're going to snug these down. Okay. Now we have to align, we have to set our impulse wheel. So the tabs on these, both of these, have to align, and then you're going to set the position here. So this goes in here like this. Rotate our tabs just like that. You can see we are flush against the wheel. Take a look here, the tab has gone into the wheel. There. We are flush there. Okay. Okay. All flush. Correct position of the impulse wheel is set. This is done to set your position to when you have your sensor of your camshaft. It knows as it passes these tabs, it knows the location of the camshaft, position of camshaft. Okay. Next step, we are going to, this is in here, but this is loose, the tensioner. So now we're going to tighten this, and we're going to set this to around 6 Newton meter. This will tighten the tension chain right here. And back it off. Okay. You just gotta feel that. That's set there. Now we're gonna tighten these bolts. First thing that we did, we rotate the flywheel, pin the flywheel. That's pinned there. You can see the pin coming out right here. That's a nice thing of not having the transmission on. Second thing, we rotated the camshafts to get the QR code up and align it so this just drops in very smoothly. Once this was in, we tightened up the jig on here, make sure this is secure. Next thing, we aligned the impulse wheel with the front alignment tool. That's aligned with the pin, so we know both of these are in the correct position. We secure that down. Next thing on the tensioner, I tightened this in by hand, just a feel to take up the slack. Then I backed it off. Then I tightened it just to something to feel like 1 Newton meter. Okay, so that's set there now. Now we're going to go ahead and torque the camshaft bolt. I'm going to torque this to 20 Newton meters. Then I'm going to go to 90. The full torque is 20 Newton meters plus 180 degrees. But I'm going to go 20 Newton meters, then 90 degrees. Then I'm going to rotate this a couple times, double check my timing, make sure my timing is still accurate. And then I'm going to do the last 90-degree torque. Okay? 20 Newton meters. Okay. I've marked these as my starting position on both of them so I can visually see when I get my 90 degrees. Okay? So now we're going to go 90 degrees. 90 degrees. You guys can see I've moved 90 degrees. Let's take this off and let's check, let's rotate it a couple times. I'm gonna put my tensioner in now with the old gasket. I'm gonna put my tensioner in with my old gasket until I'm ready to finally put it in. Ninety degrees. See, these are both in alignment. Okay, let's rotate this a couple times. All right, so we've rotated it a couple times. We put the timing jig back in, time the flywheel, put the jig on, put the impulse wheel alignment tool, and we're still on time. So we're going to do our final 90-degree torque to wrap this up to 180 degrees. Okay. Okay. You guys can see 180 degrees. This one here, actually we need to go a little bit more. Probably had some bolt twist on it, so I'm going to go another 5 degrees on this one here. That is why I put a visual. Sometimes the torque wrench, if you've got some twisting into the bolting or that mechanism that gets to the head that reads the degrees. So you can see I started here and that's 180 degrees. There's a clear indication. Okay. Alright guys, that does it for the timing of the N55 engine. Next thing is just we're going to start to assembly. Put the valve cover on, and that's pretty much it. This engine build is complete. This would typically be, yeah, once we put the valve cover on, we're done. This would typically be the way the engine comes, you know, once it's rebuilt. Then typically then you would assemble all the components. So this engine is going into this car right here. I'll put a link up to the to the build on this car. This car came out with this engine that's seized. So now we're gonna go ahead and transfer all these components onto here and get this into here, and then we're gonna continue the installation into this car, and then we're gonna do the running, the break-in, and all that stuff. So continue following me with the continued progress of the installation of this engine into this car. Okay, thanks guys.